More than a dozen Western countries have issued a statement condemning the deployment of Russian mercenaries in Mali. It's one of the first acknowledgments by Western powers that the Russian government is providing support for the positioning of private military contractor the Wagner Group on Malian soil. France recently announced it would begin removing French forces stationed there as part of its anti-insurgent Barkhane operation. It's not the first deployment for the Wagner Group. The mercenaries have already been spotted in Libya and Central Africa. France 24's international affairs editor Armen Georgian joins me on the set for more. Armen, this deployment is the sign of a new low in the relationship between France and Mali. How have things gotten so bad?
Well, this obviously didn't come out of nowhere, this communique. There was some very harsh words traded in September between President Macron and the transitional prime minister of Mali, Choguel Maïga, and the Malian leader accusing France of abandoning Mali just days after a French soldier had been killed in an anti-terrorism operation. So the French government had a sense that they were being publicly spat on at the UN General Assembly, while French forces had actually been trying to help Mali push back the jihadists for years. And it was also at that same time, in late September, that reports of Wagner's involvement in Mali came to a head, which contributed to this whole sense in the French government that it had been somehow double-crossed by the Malian authorities. On the one hand, it was Mali that actually invited French troops into the country in 2013, and yet there were Malian authorities then allegedly doing this contract with this private security contractor that, as far as Paris is concerned, is hostile to French interests. So there was really a low point in September that was feeding into what we've just seen today with this communique.
But so French anger, which is understandable, but as we mentioned earlier, it's not just France. Why have other countries added their names to the statement?
Yeah, that's right. If you look at the signatories on this statement, Wasim, you might think, well, why the Czech Republic, why Sweden, why Romania, why Lithuania? What are those countries' interests? Well, the answer is that those nations are members of the Takuba task force, which has been assisting the Malian armed forces. It has also been working closely with Operation Barkhane, which is the international military operation in the Sahel. Takuba has also been working with individual national forces of the G5, which is the group of regional states that have been particularly affected by jihadists. So Takuba is seen in France and in the EU as an important component in this whole fight against jihadists, and therefore those other countries that I mentioned are perhaps not surprisingly concerned about what Wagner's alleged entry into Mali actually means for them, how Russian interests might evolve in the region. Because remember, these are some of the same European countries that have problems with Russia in Europe when it comes to Belarus or Ukraine or the issue of natural gas and dependency on Russian energy.
Armen Georgian, thank you very much for that analysis.